What's up, nerds? Dr. Paul with a little mail call. What do we have today? This is a pretty significant book well, it's a reprint of a pretty significant book for comic book collectors. It is a reprint celebrating the 50th anniversary of the publication of Overstreet's comic book price guide. This is the first edition, second printing reprint. So it's the second print of the second print. Why did I buy this book? Well, this was published in celebration of the 50th anniversary, as I mentioned, of the original price guide. And the reason I purchased this book is because I have quite a few Overstreet price guides, not a complete collection, but close. I do not have a copy of number 1, and I am planning to do a series on investing in comic books and comic books as an asset class, and seriously evaluating comic books as an asset class, which I don't think we've had enough of. And one of the reasons that I wanted to get this book is because I do have a copy of the third edition from 1974, I believe. And in that edition, Overstreet is already talking about comic books as an investment, but he has not, to my knowledge, actually addressed whether or not comic books even meet any of the criteria for investing or asset classes to be considered as part of investing. So I wanted to look at this book and see when he first addresses comic books as an investment. So I purchased this basically to do some research for an upcoming series of videos that I intend to shoot and put onto YouTube. So, very cool book. I believe Robert Overstreet has passed away recently in the last few years, but he did get to see over 50 editions of this produced. The very first few were not annual. This was produced in 1971. Second edition is 1973. But more or less from there on, it was produced every single year for over 50 years. And I know a lot of people think it's antiquated. It's not useful because the prices are obsolete by the time the ink is dried. And while there's a certain amount of truth to that, there's also a lot of, we owe a lot to Overstreet and the Overstreet advisors and the group that put this book together over the last 50 years, because there's so much information that until Overstreet and his colleagues started cataloging it, really wasn't available. But this was around for 30 years before the internet existed, and this was the only way for some people to learn about, and for early collectors to start to try to get, complete runs. And so we owe a lot to what we take for granted in comic book collecting today to this book and to Robert Overstreet. And I do think that the print edition is still relevant. I do still get it. Yes, I subscribe to several resources, online resources, that provide up-to-the-minute pricing data to me, but those resources don't have the research that you can put into a long-form reporting that was done in the price guide for many years. The introductory part of this book is somewhat limited. It's fewer than 10 pages, as you can see. But this was the beginning of what was an annual report on the market and other articles that informed collectors about the books. And without this kind of a guide, these books would not have been saved, and we wouldn't have the hobby that we have today. So historically an important book, and one that, like I said, I purchased this to use as research for an upcoming video series. So hopefully that piqued your interest a little bit, and you can look forward to that. And that's all I wanted to share today. So good hunting, and take care of one another.